Hi, I'm Lizzie and this is Laura, and we have recently sailed on board Virgin Voyages Resilient Lady. Today is the first day of our second cruise. As we are staying on board from the previous cruise, we are very excited as we've always wanted to do a back-to-back cruise.
If you don't want to miss everything that we get up to on board Resilient Lady, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We'll also be sharing lots of videos in the future about other cruise adventures.
This morning we got up to say goodbye to Tom and Dom, who were getting off today, and to see what was happening. It seemed to be quite a calm disembarkation as it was quite staggered and people were able to just get off at the time they wanted. You had to book a slot on the app previous to today. However, they weren't checking these times and it seemed very relaxed.
While we were sat in on the rocks saying goodbye, we noticed that there were a few issues with disabled passengers disembarking this cruise. The gangway was pretty steep due to the tides, and unfortunately those passengers in wheelchairs weren't able to use the gangway and they were asked to just wait until the tides changed.
We had received a letter in our cabin yesterday to inform us of the process for the back-to-back. We were told to be in SIP Lounge for 10 o'clock, so we made our way there. However, when we arrived there, they said, oh no, it should be 10:30. We just sat around and waited until we started to be called. We discovered that there were 120 people who were staying on board for the back-to-back.
The process in SIP Lounge for the back-to-back was very, very simple. We basically had to check out of the first cruise and then check back in for the second. We sort of had to pass through two different members of staff, one at one end of the room who checked us out, and then walk through to the other end of the room where we checked back in again. It was very simple and efficient, and the process worked really, really well.
Most venues on board the ship were closed today. On the letter that we had, it informed us about which venues would be open at which time. We decided that we would take full advantage of this and film our ship tour, which is available for you to watch on our channel.
At about 11 AM, the app switched over onto the new cruise, which meant we were then able to book ourselves into dining options. So we took advantage and booked the dining that we wanted, ready for the second half of our cruise. And after we'd finished filming, we headed up into the galley because we were hungry at this point, hadn't had any breakfast, and decided to get ourselves some lunch. Again, it was pretty quiet in there. There were some groups of travel agents and various other people that were doing ship visits on board using the galley, but there were very few passengers in there. So we were able to get served for food very quickly and enjoy some of the options.
After we had eaten, we decided that we were going to take advantage of the fact the ship was quieter and head back for a bit of a relaxing afternoon in our cabin. We were feeling the effects of the last 4 days, so really needed a bit of a rest to be ready for the next 3 nights. When we arrived back into the cabin, the laundry that we had sent previously had arrived in a bag. As we had deep blue extras, this was a perk which we fully took advantage of. We had wet dresses from Scarlet Night, so we needed them washed basically, as we weren't sure yet what we were going to wear on the next Scarlet Night. It all came back very clean and we were thrilled that we had now got some new clean clothes as well as all the other clothes that we'd bought with us.
After we'd spent some time relaxing in the cabin, we decided to head out to the Sailway Party. We were excited for this as we didn't get that on the first cruise that we were on because of the weather and the delayed departure. So we headed out to the main pool area where the Sailway Party was taking place.
At the Sailway Party, Virgin are very generous and there are lots of free bubbles on offer. So we took advantage and had a couple of glasses of this. While we were there, we met up with Lizzie Lou and had a good chat with her and really enjoyed the festivities of the Sailway Party.
We soon got back involved into sort of the spirit of the Virgin cruise, and we were enjoying ourselves at the Sailway Party, doing a bit of dancing and just generally socialising, and we heard our names called from above and we spotted the Law Greens standing up there, so we popped up there and said hi. We then spent a bit of time up on the upper deck of the pool area with the Law Greens and some of their friends, where we just chatted, enjoyed a bit of dancing and enjoyed the views as we sailed out of Portsmouth because the weather was really lovely and there was some sunshine to be had.
We then headed back to the cabin to get ready for dinner. We were very excited about dinner tonight as we were trying a restaurant that we hadn't managed to get into yet. We were going to Pink Agave, which is the Mexican restaurant on board Resilient Lady. When we were seated, the member of staff came over and gave us a good explanation of the menu. We actually took a bottle of wine into the restaurant with us because we'd got some bar tab left on the previous 4 nights, so we used that to buy that bottle of wine, and we were able to take that bottle of wine into the restaurant.
On the advice of the staff, we decided to share a few different dishes for starters. We had the guacamole dish, which was served with some tortilla chips, and we also had a corn dish, which Lizzie was very pleased to try because we'd heard lots of good things about it.
And the hype was well lived up to.
And then for the next course, we had a chicken enchilada and a shrimp dish. And again, both of these were really, really nice. We both enjoyed both of the dishes, really tasty food.
Then for our mains, we both chose a different dish. I chose the steak. Laura's not a fan of steak at all, so I was very pleased because it meant I didn't have to share it, because this was by far my favourite steak that I've had on board Resilient Lady so far, and I've eaten quite a bit of it. And Laura had a duck dish.
Yeah, and again, this duck was so tasty. I was very brave and I took it as it came, so it was probably a little bit rarer than I'd have normally chosen. It was served with some small tortillas and was just a very tasty dish.
We didn't have any room for dessert, but we really enjoyed our experience in Pink Agave. We really enjoyed talking to the people on the table next to us, as we were on a table for 2 that was quite close to another table for 2. And we would highly recommend visiting Pink Agave if you are on board a Virgin ship.
After dinner, we headed to On the Rocks and sat in there for a little while. Like we sort of said before, this is actually one of the venues that's quite a traditional sort of cruise venue. There was some live music playing in there. And again, we sat and chatted with some fellow passengers that we'd met on board. And everybody was in a really social mood, so it was really good fun sitting in there.
We really enjoyed the trio that were playing. It was nice to just sit and listen to some live music and chat, and they were clearly all very talented and enjoyed their job. When we were in On the Rocks, I tried to order a drink, but we discovered that my band wouldn't work and I couldn't. Laura was able to, but for some reason I couldn't. So luckily she just ordered the drinks for us. But then when we moved from there, we headed down to Sailor Services to try to sort out the problem. When we got there and spoke to the member of staff, they said they couldn't see any issue or any reason why this would happen. And just to let the members of staff know if this was happening, that there shouldn't be a problem and to just serve me.
Tonight it was the famous Virgin Voyages PJ party, and this one was going to be held outside at the athletic club. So it was going to be a bit of a different experience to our first version of this in the manor. We then headed back to our room to get changed into our pyjamas.
It was really great fun to be able to experience the pyjama party outside. It did have a totally different atmosphere than the one before. It didn't seem quite as crazy, but people were still really enjoying themselves. We were having a great time chatting with the Law Greens, having a few drinks and having a dance and looking at the moon.
We didn't stay out as late as we had been staying out, which meant we were able to go into the pizza place and get a pizza. This shuts at 2 a.m, so you've got to get in there before then, otherwise you won't be served. We are well rehearsed at which pizzas we like in there, so we ordered a chicken pesto and a margarita, and then switched and had half and half each, and sat there and enjoyed that before heading off to bed.
After we finished our pizza, we had to head back to Sailor Services. We had got a problem because we couldn't use our internet properly, as we were supposed to have premium and this wasn't working. Also, I still couldn't buy any drinks, so we thought we'd try and get it sorted out. The member of staff was very helpful, and she told us to just buy the premium Wi-Fi and that it would be refunded back to us, which we both then did. She also said she'd look into the problem with buying the drinks. So once this was sorted, we headed back to the cabin to go to bed. Today, we have had a really good day. We enjoyed being able to experience the empty ship, and we finally feel like we've got to see every single venue on board, because there were places that we found that we didn't know existed from our previous 4 days. We really enjoyed Pink Agave and enjoyed experiencing the pyjama party outside instead of in the manor. We feel like we've had a full Virgin experience now, as we've also had a Sailway Party.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give this video a like and drop any questions you've got in the comments down below. Please do also make sure you're subscribed to our channel. You can also find us on social media by searching Sisters on the Seas.